Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second annual BCE Conference right now in Boston. This is the second week of the BCE Conference. My name is Valerio Cando. I am a senior Business of Creative Enterprises student, and I am also one of the executive producers of the BCE Conference. And I have the honor to introduce you to today's event. Shortly, I will explain the flow of the event, but right now I'll pass it on to Wes Jackson, the director of the BCE program. Um, Wes has over 25 years of experience as an entrepreneur and innovator in the music business. He helped launch the careers of many recognized artists. His first venture was Seven Heads Up Entertainment, and he was a boutique independent record label and a management company. In 2005, Wes founded the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival with the mission to create a world-class event to honor hip hop music and culture. The festival has hosted a range of amazing talent, including Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Kendrick Lamar. He's currently a senior director in residence and the director of the BCE program. Right now, I'll pass it on to Wes Jackson.
Thank you very much, Valeria, and welcome everybody in the building with us now and those tuning in online. Very happy to be here for the second annual BCE Conference. And thanks everybody who came to LA last week, and shout out to the Emerson LA team and their production staff. Had a great time, and you all can imagine how difficult it is to produce these events in sort of the COVID era. So everyone's been working very, very hard. I want to get started out with a couple of thank yous. I want to thank Valeria, of course, who is leading our student team. And we're gonna be able to talk to the whole crew who's in the corner here. For those in the audience, so y'all could wave your hands and say hi over there. There you go. So during lunch, we'll be able to sit down and talk to them. And one of the things I'm most proud of with this conference is that it is student-led. We have wonderful faculty and executives and administration who are supporting us, who I'm going to shout out in a minute. But to our students in the building and anybody maybe tuning in, this is a great opportunity to get some practical experiential learning. This is, when I say that Larry is the executive producer and these folks are producers, this is really executive stuff that they're doing. Negotiating with talent, dealing with production, dealing with snowstorms. It's one of the things that makes me very proud of the BCE. This is how we teach. It's just not lectures and theory, but we like to say we throw you into the deep end of the pool as well. So shout out to Valeria and the crew. I want to thank Paul Pegger, the Director of Operations in the School of Comm, who is an honorary member of the BCE crew, whether he likes it or not. Paul's been basically taking the production, as I like to say, keeping the trains running on time. I do fear what would have happened without Paul here. So thank you, Paul. I want to thank Dean Reis, the Dean of the School of the Communications, whose office has supported us not only with various resources, but an expertise. Then I want to thank Dr. Brent Smith. These are all folks you're going to hear from in a minute, who's the chairperson of the Marketing Communications Department, where the BC program sits, as well as his right hand, Cynthia, who, again, I fear what would happen to us if Cynthia were not here and without Brent's leadership. I also want to thank Robin Elkins and Isaac in the advancement office, as well as John Malcolm, who heads up that office, who have helped us with alumni engagement. And for those who weren't here last year when we had our keynote, is Bobby Brown, who's one of Emerson's most famous alumni. That was much through the efforts of Robin and her office. So these are people who you may not see who make this happen. And then lastly, I want to thank Sanjay Pothan, who is our faculty advisor liaison. I forget what Sanjay's been very helpful, mediating and managing everybody's time, along with Paul and myself, as we really support Valeria and the team. So I just want to say a couple quick things about how the conference started for those who don't know, and shout out one last person, Kristen Cowall, who's one of our alums. Kristen and Valeria were our student assistants for the last couple of years. And when we initially got set into lockdown with when everybody got sent home, I called it yesterday the dark summer, right? That summer when everybody was like, I don't know what's going to happen. We were sort of, really, I just want to point out that Kristen was working with me, and Valeria really cold emailed me, although I had taught Valeria, I knew who she was, just 1 June said, I'm not doing enough. And I'm not, maybe the other part of it is I'm not getting enough out of this major. This is an important time in my life. I want to do something. And I sort of sat with Kristen. I said, well, I did have this conference idea that Kristen and I didn't have the bandwidth to actually execute. And I said, all right, Valeria, this is what I want to do. And she said, bet. And just for you students out there, no title, no money, no student job, no nothing. She literally just put in the work. That I had to come back that fall and talk to Brent and Ann and these folks and said, we got to find some money for Valeria. We just have to do it. So you talk about getting a seat at the table, which I'll talk about in a second. Valeria really is an example of that, of had an idea, made some sacrifices, and the seat was made for her at the table by me and a lot of other folks. But we were just sitting around there, and the theme of the festival is coming from the professional world, as I did, and entering this world of higher ed. I quite admired the conferences and the high intellectual discussions that would happen with my colleagues on the 7th floor of Walker. And I thought to myself, we don't do that where I came from, right? We'll go to a conference, but we all know that's 6 people in the room and 300 people in the bar, at the end of the night, maybe doing deals. But being a little bit of a nerd, I said, well, I'm always the one in the front row. Like, that was an interesting point, right? And I said, we need more of that. We need more of that energy. And what I want to do with the BCE is connect this high level of theoretical and academic work that we do with the practical world. Because as you'll see with Christina and Lori and all these wonderful people that are going to come, they want to talk to us, and we want to talk to them. So what this conference is a bit of a little bit of Match.com, right? Of putting 2 people together who walk around looking for each other, and we realize this. So we hope that as we continue to grow with all of your support, that we will be the premier place that meets the executives and the future and current scholars. The point, the last thing I'm going to say before I toss it off to our dean is the point of this year's conference, as you will see from the title page, is disenfranchisement. And we kind of cooked up this word over the summer, is that you always hear the word disenfranchisement. You hear the negative spin on it, but we don't talk enough about the root word, enfranchise. So we all know, we talk about how people have been excluded, BIPOC, women, LGBTQIA plus have been excluded, which is our focus right now. But after we talk about that, how do we fix it, right? And how do we get them in the table? So what we're doing here is doing that. We want to document the things that have happened to old folks like us, right? This is how I got jerked on a deal. This is what I didn't know. This is how I was a victim of maybe that sort of silent racism. And this is how I overcame it. And this is the lesson I want to give to you, so you don't have to go through what I went through, so we can just really get to that better place that much faster. So that is the theme of everything we're going to hear today. And we have wonderful speakers that Valeria's going to come back and break down for you. But without further ado, I want to welcome Dean Raul Reis, the Dean of the School of Communication, to say a few words.
Thank you, Wes. That was a great introduction to the day. And good morning, everyone. And thank you again for being here virtually or in person to participate in our 2nd annual BCE Conference. It feels good to say 2nd annual. It's a tradition in the making. So I wanted to take a minute again to recognize the amazing work done by our student organizers. Valeria Ocando, as Wes was saying, had the idea and tried to bring everyone together. So we have Jessica Saavedra, Chloe Williams, Karthik Ramaswamy, Nising Hershkovitz, and Eugenia Camacho, among others. So thank you so much for all the work that you did to put this together. So they have been hard at work, as Wes was saying, since the summer, planning the conference and making sure we have this incredible lineup of topics and guests today. To those guests, thank you for joining us here today and sharing your insights, experiences, and wisdom with our students and participants. Along the way, our student team has been guided by our BCE faculty and leaders, especially Wes Jackson, but also Brent Smith, chair of the Marketing Communication Department, Sanjay Pothan, the conference faculty coordinator, and all the faculty. So thank you, Wes, Sanjay, and everyone else who contribute to this effort. I also want to give a big thank you not only to Paul Pegger, who has behind the scenes making this happen, but also the Dean's office staff, who worked very hard behind the scenes on the organization and logistics of the event, including Jonathan Satriali, Molly Loffman, Robin Elkins, Diego Salazar, and also Cynthia Intinen from the Marketing Communication Department, who spent many hours promoting, planning, and doing so many tasks behind the scenes. We also owe gratitude to the skillful staff from Emerson Productions, especially Eric Fox, Dan Lewis, and Pierre Robison, who made this hybrid live stream production possible. You might think it's easy to do in the age of Zoom a production like this, but it's actually quite complicated, and this team has innovated in an approach that was truly Emersonian. It gives me great pride as Dean of the school that we have been able to support and help make this conference come together. I'm also proud of the topic of the conference today, disenfranchisement, getting a seat at the table. The organizers couldn't have picked a more timely, urgent, and important topic for this event. I'm looking forward to watching and listening to the presentations, discussions, and conversations that will happen here today. So enjoy your day, have a great conference. And now I'm proud to introduce Dr. Brent Smith, the chairperson of the Marketing Communication Department. Brent?
Thank you, Dean Reis. Good day, everyone. So, enfranchisement, a very timely, very appropriate topic, not just today, but always. I'm really looking forward to hearing from our speakers regarding their stories on how they found enfranchisement, what might have been afforded to them by the work of others, and how they try to do the same thing for those who will follow them. So, as you hear the examples, as you hear the stories of the day, I hope that we will all think about enfranchisement not just as something that we need for our own selves, but something that we need to create for others. Just as we are today beneficiaries of people whom we know and people whom would never know us, we do have a responsibility to pay it forward. I would also encourage us to think about how we can together co-create the kind of community we hope to see in the not so distant future. As the saying goes, we have not come this far just to come this far. So as we look forward not only to the third annual BCE conference next year, may we also look forward to what diversity, equity, and inclusion should always compel us to do. Think about those who have difficulty getting to the table for a variety of reasons. It might be their identity, it might be a shortcoming, it might be a struggle, it might be a challenge, might be mental, might be physical. Once upon a time, we compelled people to hide who they were when they got to the table. May we think forward about how we want people to bring all of who they are, each of their identities, to that table so we can co-create value as it really should be created. May we also make opportunities to share in the creation of that value and in the benefits derived from that value. And just in closing, I want to say, as February is Black History Month and we all know the name Martin Luther King Jr., I want to encourage us in our own lived and professional experiences that we find a mountaintop somewhere and look on some other side, and that we be a bit unselfish, and we try to find a way to make a way for others who will get to see the beautiful things on the other side of that mountain that we may not ultimately see ourselves. Ultimately, that is, enfranchisement is about each of us and all of us, especially those who are not here yet. So to the future, teamwork makes the dream work. I'm excited for the day, and I now pass it back to Valeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brent. Right now, I'll introduce the flow of the event. And then I'll introduce our first keynote speaker, Christina Norman. So today we will have Christina Norman first, then we will have the street art panel for social change, then we will have a short break where you will meet the students behind the scenes and see a video, our conversation with Kevin Bright. Then we will continue our day with a panel on crypto, then an independent music artist panel, and lastly, we will have Lori Bula as our last keynote speaker. So right